Welcome to the Gym Secrets Podcast with myself, Cale Owen, Mike Ferreira, and Ed Turney. This podcast has one simple goal: make gym owners wildly successful. We have each owned or currently own profitable gyms. And over the past 5 years, we have helped over 5,000 gyms become massively profitable through the secrets we will share on this podcast. And if you listen in closely, we guarantee that you will be able to build a wildly profitable gym. Enjoy. And as always, if you find value in this, do us a massive favor and just share this with other gym owners that you know. All right, guys, we're back for another episode. This is episode 2 of 3 when we're talking about data that you should be tracking that you probably aren't tracking right now inside of your gym, right? Every gym typically tracks revenue, profit, number of members, all that stuff. But we're talking about the stuff that truly matters inside of a business, and they really matter inside of big businesses. And that's why if you can bring big business data into your small business, you have the opportunity to become big. And this is why big businesses are big. So today we're talking about churn, but not your typical churn. So most people are like, well, most gym owners don't actually know their churn anyway, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper and talk about a specific aspect of churn, which is cohort data. Cohort data, I know we use it on our side, and it is an eye-opener for us across the board. For anyone that's wondering, we have 3 different companies inside of our portfolio: Gym Launch, Prestige Labs, and gymowners.com. All 3 of them are all bent and designed to help gym owners grow, reach more people, change more lives, and build wildly profitable gyms. And inside of this, we're owned by private equity. We track a lot of data. Cohort data is a big one. It's helped us be able to shape our plans, our strategies, our tactics, and how we go about creating better client experience, selling more gyms, and increasing profitability across the board. Cohort data inside of gyms, I know I did it without even knowing it, and it changed the way that I saw my churn.
So you did it early on.
I did it. Yep. And one of the reasons we did it manually, and one of the reasons it helped me maintain sub 3% churn with over 200 members for a year.
Crazy.
And I was super anal about it, but we tracked it week after week and month after month. So we would track when someone signed up, and every month we'd move them to a next column in literally Google Sheets. So we would track them month over month, and we would know, okay, most of our churn, we found out after tracking it within the first 6 months, we found out that most of our churn happened in the first 90 days. And then an interesting thing happened. After the year, we realized that if we kept them for the first 90 days, we kept them for a full year. There was no churn didn't happen after the first 90 days.
All the critical churn, activation point.
All of the churn happened in the first 90 days.
Makes sense.
And that made us reevaluate what we were doing in the first 90 days to extend it, create new phases, other ways, client events, get them integrated with the client, with our other clients and other people inside the community, to figure out a way to keep them longer. And we knew that if we get them past that 90 day, we got them. And we got them to stick. And so we were doing this because Gym Launch did that. Remember back in the day?
Yeah, you just
old school. You just move them.
Yeah.
That's cohort data.
Yeah.
That is literally it. So when we talk about cohort data, what we're talking about is, let's say January, you sign up a group of members. Let's say you sign up 10 members in January. What you should do is start a Google Sheet, have it tab January, have those people on that sheet right there. And then what you do is you're going to take them, copy them over the next month into February, whoever's still there, and then just mark in red in January, whoever exited. And then what you do is you start tracking how long they've been with you. There's lots of other different ways that you can do it. But when you start tracking this, you get to see, okay, these 10 people I signed up in January, how many are left in January of the next year? How many people stuck with me? Then you get to see true churn across time. And you also get to see average length of engagement, right? Is another one that people talk about. And that leg, so length of engagement, in meaning how long are they sticking inside of your gym. But that cohort data allows you to really pinpoint with good accuracy what's happening. But I know we were talking about just before of there's details that
I was just going to say, this already is probably a level deeper than most gyms
100%.
Are going or going to go.
But I would actually,
to make it,
I would say that this is really easy for people. Just pull up a Google Sheet or Excel and literally just start. Just start this month. Take all your sales, put their names in there, month 1, and then move it to the next one every single time. And then keep the ones that exited keep them all in the same one, just keep moving. And then start a new section, and just keep going.
Because you start a new initiative in your gym, right? Or you hire, a new team member, or there's some kind of shift in the client journey that you say, we should start doing this in the sessions or whatever. If these things aren't tracked along the way, then when you look back historically, you're not going to really know what affected your increase, your decrease in churn at all. So I think it's just it has to come with, a bit more color, along the way. Just make sure you're organizing and you're documenting how you're improving your product, right? When did you hire, the new trainer, that type of thing, so that oh wow, look at this spike or look at this drop, And then you can go to the notes and say, oh man, that's right. We had an internal challenge that month, but we also did like that big charity thing, right? And it's like, oh, so this is, I think it's just, we just all have to lean into like data, right? And generally it's going to lead us to the right direction, like growing the gym.
Yeah.
You know?
And in a lot of ways, churn is actually worse than we think it is, because the original 70 people that you signed up when you were doing all the things haven't left. And that's where you're like, no one leaves. I see more leads. Those 70 people are skewing the data for the new people. So if your churn's 10% overall, but if you took out those 70, it's probably 30%.
Yeah, they'll like,
or more.
Or
Which
worse.
is why most people don't.
That's
don't
how no one
grow.
scales. Yeah.
Because they're like, no, no one leaves. Well, it's because the same, like you said, 70 people, but I sign up 5 people a month. Well, what are you talking about? No one leaves. Then like, why haven't you grown? Well, it's because those same 5 people. So technically I have 100% churn on new signups
Correct.
in the first 60 days. And it's like, okay, well, great. So something's a problem.
So to your point, like a good exercise might be, if you want to start now, just disregard all, right, OGs. Just start with your new signups this month and just track month over month that way. Yeah.
Here's what's really interesting too. And this is what we did. Because I had coaches, we were in the process of scaling everything at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I found that we were hiring new coaches. And what I could do is I could go back in time with those people and I could take those names because I was tracking attendance, and I could go back to the classes that they typically came to. And I could go back to the coach that was the coach of that class.
Great.
And then those people, I could start to track trends to see, okay, we get the highest amount of churn from this coach. Right. And I'm a small gym. Like I had 250 members. Like I think at my cap, I had 262, 263 at my max. Right. And so, but consistently over 220, 230 at all times. And so once we scaled, and once you get to that, I'm using Google Sheets, I'm using my CRM, but like you can find the data if if you have the right tracking mechanisms in place, like you're tracking attendance and all this stuff, and you have the coaches associated with the sessions. Dude, you can go back and get a ton of data. And I was, like I said, I was super anal about it. So I would dive deep into this stuff. Yeah. Because losing someone to me was like, I just cut their life short.
That's it's so important to actually think that way, because most people don't think that way. They blame the client. He's lazy. They don't want to work hard. I don't have to call them and remind them to come to class. They need you. Yeah. Well, it's the business you signed up for.
If you truly believe that your service will change lives, where else are they going to go? Where else are they going to go? Like people would ask me, they would move. And they're like, do you have someone else that you believe would help? And I said, no, because I don't know. I don't trust them. Like, I don't know. There's no one in the local area that I can refer you to. No one. And like, I traveled to different gyms. I tested different gyms. I knew different gym owners. There was another gym owner right down the street. That was a PT that was in Gym Launch at the same time. And I was like, I don't know his stuff. Like I can't.
Your name's on that referral.
Yes, I can't do that.
You can't just refer someone for no reason.
I can't do that.
Okay, so monthly cohort tracking, attaching it to trainers, great. Also front end offers.
Yes.
Track that cohort. Yes. So if you try a new offer, it's like, well, did those people stick longer? Why? Did the onboarding experience change? Did you do more or less onboarding? Did someone different do the onboarding?
Yeah.
So like, there's so many things you can track, but like just even putting your attention on this idea will change you from thinking small business mind to big business mind.
And if you can first just start tracking it and then start realizing when the majority of your churn happens, that's when more questions will arise. Because the first question you should ask is why? That's it. Why do 60% of my clients churn out in the first 30 days? Why do they churn out in this? Okay. Well, let's go back to the beginning. What's their onboarding experience like? Well, they don't have an onboarding experience, meaning we just have them come into class and they just start. Well, maybe we should have an onboarding meeting.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe we have an onboarding meeting, but then we don't contact them after that. We just let them go. Or all my clients churn. The majority of my churn happens in the first 60 days, right? We have an incredible onboarding experience for the first 14 days. We over deliver, we do incredible stuff, and then we do nothing.
Forgotten about, right? Yeah. They feel like
it's like, well, what happened? Yeah, what happened? Like you over delivered in the beginning. You set the expectation that this was going to be my experience, and then it just falls off a cliff after that. And then it's like, well, okay, I'm not getting my money's worth. I'm not getting value from this anymore. Like you gave me a ton of value in the beginning. It's a honeymoon stage, right? And then now it's like, I'm getting into the relationship and the grind of fitness. And now it's like, okay. And that's a big thing right there that we got to hit on real quick.
I think that's actually a common situation in a lot of gyms where like there is a lot of attention on the front. And then what the narrative within the member base starts to like turn to, they only care about new members, right? Because that was their experience, right?
Because they do.
Because they do.
Because they don't know when they're going to get their next one. But there's a piece of this that I think we need to take a step back as gym owners. And this is something that I will I'm very thankful that for some reason I didn't assume this. I always thought about it from the client experience standpoint of like someone who'd never worked out. The honeymoon stage for a new person working out is roughly 90 days. They're going to feel it best in the first 60 days. So it wasn't a shock for me when we lost most of our churn in our gym was within the first 90 days because they see all of their results in the first 60 days, regardless of what we did. Right? If you've never worked out before, we had obviously Gen Pop, tons of people that never worked out, and they come in, they're losing 20, 30 pounds in their first 60 days. Right? And they're feeling amazing. And then all of a sudden, life hits but then they start to plateau. So they go a week. Imagine you're losing a pound a week. You've never done it before in your life. You're losing a pound a week or a pound and a half a week for 6 straight weeks. And then you hit your first week where you don't lose a pound. You're used to all this progress and this expectation of, like this is what it's going to be like the rest of my journey. Oh, this is easy. This is cake. I just got to show up to the gym, eat the right foods. This is cake.
And no one's there to communicate that.
No one there. And then you hit your first plateau. It's your first week. And now you're not feeling it. You're tired. Maybe you stayed out late, like on one night, or you had a work trip or something, or your kids are crazy and the mom's coming in. Then it's another week. It's like, how do you handle that? So now it's addressing the mental aspects of that. And now it's setting the expectations before that. So that's one of the things we found is like,
that's expected.
Yeah, we had to clearly set expectations. It's like, hey, you're going to lose a lot of weight early on. Don't worry. But like, then you're going to hit this. And then when they get there, they're like, oh, they told me. They told me I was going to get there. And then they set the expectation. They're fortune tellers, right? I'm clearly set up. It's supposed to be hard. This is what hard feels like. This is what a fitness journey feels like. This is what success feels like. And then when you feel that, now you can build your entire client journey around that. You can build your entire client communication around that. Now your cohort data will change based on understanding that.
But if you don't know when that happens, how can you adjust the process?
Correct.
We were talking about this earlier this week, actually, on the phone, which is how we cut churn by 40% by focusing not just on results, but
experience.
More like connection, right? And so, we used to be texting everybody, twice a week, really making sure we had a dialed in goal for the quarter, that type of thing. And my team would try so hard and they couldn't really affect churn anymore. And then, what we found was we'd throw an internal challenge on the schedule or something like that, or some type of event coming up. And when we looked at the data, we thought during the event, like during the challenge would be like the best, lowest churn. It was actually leading up to it. So it was the month or two before the big thing when everyone stayed. Yeah. And so what that taught us was like, when there's something to look forward to,
always,
right?
Always.
People are going to stick around because they want to be part of that. Yeah. And so the big hack there was let's just make sure there's always things to look forward to outside of the goal, outside of, whatever that next, number on the scale that they're trying to hit is. And so, so what we did is we just put 2 months on the board or on the wall, made sure this month's events and next month's events were just clearly communicated. Challenge, theme weeks, things of that nature. So they always have that, why should I stay? What's happening around here? So even when their goals have slowed down, maybe they have plateaued, they still have things to look forward to and other things going on in the gym.
And you wouldn't know that unless you track the data.
Correct.
And that's the key. That's it.
Yeah.
So if you're a gym owner and you're not tracking this, highly suggested. All you need is literally Google Sheets, which is free. Set up a Gmail account and you can start tracking all of your new signups and then start tracking them over every single month. And then understand the details. Look back, keep track of when you hired this one person, when you had this new offer, whatever it is, and you will be a much better gym owner, provide a much better experience for your clients. You will make a lot more money and you'll be able to sleep better at night. So awesome. Next episode, we're talking about, what do we got?
Theoretical max.
How
to actually fill up your gym and know what those numbers look like.
Yes. So that's going to be a phenomenal episode. Stay tuned for that one. Appreciate y'all. As always, if you like it, my only request, all of our requests, is just share it with another gym owner or business owner. We don't care. No discrimination over here. So appreciate y'all, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Peace.
Later.